Hello and welcome to News Labor Sports. I'm Moses Echedo, and this is where everything happens. News Labor, and visit newslabor.com for all your information. That's tech news, sports, entertainment, uh, what politics, science, get education. We have the evergreen information available on newslabor.com. That's www.newslabor.com. Newslabor is newslibre.com. Today we're going to talk about the best dribblers in the world of sports, basically in football. For the Americans, they call it soccer, but in the entire world, it's football. So who have been the best, dribblers? I've been watching football since I could say 1995. So I'm going to go with the footballers that I actually did manage to watch, and I'm not going to put them in any particular order, but the last two might actually be in order. I think the last three definitely are some of the best dribblers I've had to watch. You talk about the likes of Clarence Seedorf. You'll talk about the likes of Roberto Baggio. Then, of course, Juan Roman Riquelme. For the time I watched him at that is Villarreal, quite impeccable a talent that he was, and his impact on the game was also unrivaled. And then you go ahead and talk about the likes of that is Pires. Pires was really incredible at Arsenal. His mastery of dribbling and the way he handled the ball. Of course, right in there, you can talk about that is Dennis Bergkamp. So incredible, his touch on the ball, his way of going past the defenders was also beautiful to watch. For many people, currently dribbling is running with the ball. You see the likes of Sterling just running with the ball. You can talk about so many current generation of dribblers, and you will not really find the satisfaction of beating the defender with so many different tricks. Something that you definitely enjoy watching when you watch the likes of Romario. Let's talk about Denilson. For Arsenal fans, I'm not talking about Denilson who played as your midfield holder. I'm talking about Denilson, the gentleman who played a little bit earlier on around the 1998, around the time of 2000. That guy was really, really good. Then, of course, in there we throw in that is Luis Figo, another incredible force of a talent. During his time at Barcelona, during his time at that is Real Madrid as well. At the time when he was going to Real Madrid was literally at the peak of his career, and that is the time when he was now starting to put together the Galactico era, that is under Florentino Perez. The other gentleman that would probably be talking about is Thierry Henry. He was really good. Of course, he was also good at running with the ball but beating defenders. Most notable was at that time against that is Tottenham Hotspurs. He loved to play against Tottenham Hotspurs. Then talk about the time when he played against Liverpool. Jamie Carragher up to date looks at goes back to that time when Thierry Henry made him eat all the grass that there was in the stadium. The other gentleman that I personally loved to watch, Jeje Okocha, Nigeria's Jeje Okocha. I mean, if you didn't enjoy watching Jeje Okocha play, then probably you didn't really understand what football was. So fine with his touch, so calm with the ball, and he beat defenders with so much ease. You talk about beating the likes of Oliver Kahn. At his time at Bolton Wanderers, I feel that when he was at Bolton Wanderers, he should have actually gone ahead and moved to a better team like, say, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United. Then, of course, but for many, you remember him at the time when he was at PSG, and that's the time he was playing. That's the time when Ronaldinho was just coming through the ranks, and up to date, Ronaldinho talks about Jeje Okocha as his role model. I mean, imagine a Brazilian coming out talk about a Nigerian Jeje Okocha to be his role model. For most of the Brazilian players, their role models are always going to be Pele. Talk about the likes of Garrincha. Those are the guys that the likes of Zico. Those are the guys that they will talk about as their role models. But yes, going forward, the other gentleman that really cannot go without mention, cannot go without talking about Tarat or Tarabat, the gentleman who was at QPR. Very, very incredible as well. Loved to play with this ball, the Moroccan. I mean, it was just unfortunate that his career did not, span as massively as many would have wanted to see him, play at the game of football. So now we go into some of the other memorable players. Of course, the Brazilian category is really, really hard, massive in there. The others that I've had to watch, you talk about Zinedine Zidane. I mean, his level of playing at that Juventus side, and then of course going to Real Madrid. You when you see the way he was beating defenders, talk about the way he was beating midfielders, talk about how he controlled the pace of the game and how he, that was just Zinedine Zidane at his peak. Then we come into Cristiano Ronaldo, another great dribbler. I think for many, if you really want to watch, Cristiano Ronaldo's dribbling, you may not find it so easily at Real Madrid. But if you watch the time when he was at Manchester United, that was Cristiano Ronaldo at arguably his best in terms of dribbling. Beat defenders, always loved to go at defenders. When you went to Real Madrid, it was a question of, can I beat Lionel Messi in terms of scoring goals? And his game changed tremendously when he moved to the Santiago Bernabeu. Right in there, we'll throw in Lionel Messi. Really, really a great force of a talent when it comes to dribbling as well. Up to date, he beats defenders flawlessly. So many have come out and said that he beats defenders with only one style or two styles of dribbling. But again, everyone has their own style or their own format in which they do something. Next up, we'll have, that is Robinho, another incredible talent. I mean, it's so unfortunate that we did not see Robinho actually, become the best that everyone had thought him to. Was going to turn out to be. Everyone had taunted him to be the next Pele. Talk about the next Garincha per se, but it didn't turn out to be the case. But Robinho was so incredible to watch when he was beating defenders with his step overs, with his, a bit of stretchers in here and there. So that is who Robinho, another dribbler for you. Then we go into the other players. Ronaldo Nazario da Lima, the Brazilian. If you did enjoy how he was scoring his goals, how he left defenders lying on the floor, how he left goalkeepers behind him on the ground, then certainly football is not something that you actually watch to enjoy. You watch for the sake of getting the wins and going away. But for people who want to watch art, for people who want to watch, technique, basically the art of football, Ronaldo da Lima was the guy. And then we'll definitely have, that is the gentleman, Ronaldinho. He has to be at number one spot. Ronaldinho, arguably the best or the greatest entertainer I have ever had to watch. Not because of the goals that he scored, not because of what, but because of the entertainment that he put on the pitch. He was so passionate about beating defenders. He was so passionate about using any part of his body to beat a defender, to beat an opponent. That for me was, for many, they remember that time at the Santiago Bernabeu when he literally destroyed Real Madrid. But I could talk about the time when he went to the San Siro and also single-handedly destroyed, that is AC Milan. And then you could talk about the time when he went ahead and tore Mallorca to pieces. And then you can also talk about the time when he went ahead and tore Real Sociedad to shreds. Ronaldinho, arguably, the greatest dribbler I have ever had to watch. So feel free to share with me some of the names of the best dribblers that you think you have ever watched out there. Just throw it in the comments. But also, if you feel some of the dribblers I put out there are not it, we could look at it as well. Also, the other gentleman that we could throw in as I leave, Luis Suarez at Ajax and also at Liverpool. Very, very good a dribbler he was. But that is it for now. Bye bye and have peace.